my friends, it's Miss Clap Rich coming to you on a beautiful day. I hope you had an awesome weekend. I missed talking with you, but I have some fun stuff we're going to talk about today. And I brought my friend with me. I bet you've maybe seen an animal like this before. She's so cute. Look, she got a little white diamond on her head and this mane here and long tail. There's some of these in Alaska. You see people out riding them on trails and things. That's right, it's a cool horse. Let's see, her name is Derby. I like that. So Derby's gonna be joining us as we talk today, and we're gonna do one of our cards. This one, remember, our cards are to help us remember to be more present in this moment and not worry about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow, just to enjoy what's happening right now. So this one is called Paw Prints. And it says, like a bear, or we could say even a horse, walk around the room and press your hands and feet against the ground and leave big paw prints. Have you ever done that in gym where you're supposed to walk like a bear? You have your feet on the ground and you put both your hands on the ground and you're walking like a bear. And you're putting your paws or your hands and feet on the ground and you're imagining as if you're that animal. And and when you do that, think to yourself, how does this feel? I feel like a bear. I feel strong. I feel my hands and feet pressed against the ground, and just imagine how that feels while you're doing it. It's actually a really fun activity. Do that with maybe your siblings, or if you can find someone in your home to do it with. Walking around like a bear is pretty fun. And it just helps you be more in this moment and not be worrying about what's going to be happening later. So moving your bodies is really important. I hope you're getting outside and trying to get exercise. So let's come over to the thankful tree before we get into our lesson today. So you know what I've been thinking about, since I'm not able to actually hang out with a lot of friends and family right now, since we have to be staying home, I'm still thankful that I can call someone on the phone and say kind things to them and make people feel good. There's some family members that I have that live alone and they don't see many people on a day-to-day basis, so I can call and say something nice to them, and they really appreciate that. And it makes me feel good too. And I also wrote down kind of the opposite. It says, people saying kind things to me. That makes me feel really good when a friend or a family member says, you know what, Miss Clapridge, you are so happy. You really make a difference and are really nice. That makes me feel really good. So it's good to try to say kind things, and it's nice when someone says something nice back to you, huh? So you guys, I got something important we're going to talk about today. And you see I got a pretty jar that we're going to be putting some things in. So let's see what we can do. What I'm going to talk about, let's talk about a couple things that might be happening in your life right now that are feeling kind of frustrating to you. So if I wrote down some examples so I didn't forget. What about having to stay home right now because of the virus? Or having to do a lot of schoolwork at home right now. Or maybe your siblings are kind of feeling annoying and they're getting in your room, or who knows, or maybe sometimes you're feeling like, I don't know if I have a lot to do right now. There's some of these kind of frustrating things that we're going through right now. And what I want to talk about today is how some of those frustrating things are not in your control. And you can't do anything about them. But there are some things that you can control. So for example, having to stay home because of the virus. Do we have control over that? No, we don't. That's something that's happening in our world right now, and we have to make sure that people are staying healthy. So we don't have control over what's happening with the virus. But you know what you do have control over? You have control over how you feel about being home. You can try to make it fun. Spend time with your family members and color and spend time outside, and you can control how you feel about staying home. Or what about the example of having to do schoolwork right now? Do you have control over doing the schoolwork? No, you have to do some schoolwork. But you can have control over your attitude about it. You can be grumpy and say, oh, I don't want to do schoolwork and spend an hour doing schoolwork and feel grumpy, but that's not fun at all. You can choose to say, you know what? I don't really feel like sitting down and doing schoolwork right now, but I'm going to choose to have a good attitude because then I'll be happier. So I wanted to make just help you realize that some things are in your control and some things are not. So I actually drew this picture today. So in the middle, it says, what can I control? And on the top here, it says, what I can't control. So, you know what? You can't control what other people say. Like people in your family, you can't control what they choose to say, but you can choose your words. So if somebody says something mean to you, that you can't control what they do, but you can control what you do. And you can say, you know what? That made me feel bad. Or that's not kind at all. I'm going to go spend some time by myself because you're not being very kind right now. You can choose how you react to it. Can you control the weather? No, that is something you can't control. But what can you control? You can control your attitude about the weather. You can say, you know what? It's kind of rainy today, but that's okay because the flowers are going to grow and maybe I can go play in the puddles. Let's do a couple more examples. What about your brothers and sisters? Can you control what they do? No, you can't control your brothers and sisters, and you can't control your parents either. But you can control what you do. So if your brothers and sisters are being kind of mean, you can control how you react and what you say to them. Isn't that good? What's one more? What other people think of you. So maybe like friends at school, you can't control whether or not they like what you wear or what you say, or maybe you really like soccer and they don't. You can't control what they like or don't like or what other people think of you, but you can control how you react to it. So it's kind of a complicated thing to think about. But let's see, we're gonna try one more activity before we leave, okay? So I have a jar here and I wrote down some situations and you're going to help me decide whether it's in my control and I can do something about it or if it's not in my control. And then I'll say goodbye until tomorrow. So, can you control if your siblings are nice? What do you think? Nope, you can't control their behavior. So we'll just go ahead and rip that up. You can't control if your siblings are nice, but you can control being nice to them or telling your parents that maybe they're not being nice to you and trying to figure that out. What about smiling? Is that something you have control over? Yes, you're absolutely right. I can choose whether I'm gonna smile today or if I'm gonna frown today. So that will go in the jar because that is something that is in our control. Let's do a couple more. Can you control rainy days? Like it's been pretty rainy lately. Can you go up there and magically turn off the rain clouds? No, we can't control rainy days. So we'll tear that one up. But you can control how you feel about those days. Maybe you feel a little frustrated about it, or maybe you can choose to have a good attitude and play in the puddles, or remember that we need rain in order for things to grow. How about being nice? Can you control yourself being nice to others? Absolutely, that's something you can control. That's very good. How about being happy or sad? Do you get to control whether or not you are going to be happy or sad? Yes, you do. You can control that. You can control your attitude and how you are feeling. What about apologizing for making a mistake? Maybe you accidentally broke a toy of your siblings, or you forgot to do a chore that your parent asked you to do. You can choose to apologize and say, hey, I'm sorry for doing that. So that is totally in your control. How about I pick one more? How about helping your parents? Is that something that you can control? Absolutely. Now, because you can't control your parents' attitude or what they say. Maybe they're feeling stressed out right now. You can't control that. But You can control trying to help them, helping your parents, doing nice things for them, and saying, I love you. That makes them feel really good. So just try to remember, if you're feeling kind of frustrated about something, think to yourself, is this something that's in my control? If not, there's nothing you can do about like what your siblings say or your parents say, but there are things that are in your control, like your thoughts, your words, your attitude, your effort, the amount of effort you put into your schoolwork or chores, how you react to things. And by doing all these things, you can control your future. Because if you have a positive attitude and do good things, you will have a great future. So, Derby and I will say goodbye until tomorrow, and we'll have a fun activity that you can actually do outside tomorrow. So I'm excited about that one. Oh, and you know what? It won't be tomorrow, but it will be Wednesday, so 2 days from now. But we'll see you then. Bye-bye.